Hey friends, it's Dimitri with Nebraska Streetwear. Today I want to talk about the perfect brand, and I put a question mark and exclamation mark because this is kind of in theory and it's something that I'm always thinking about. So, my entire goal and what I'm trying to do every single day is going to be mostly laid out here. And this is what I'm always striving to and aspiring to do in my brand. I don't really have any other aspirations other than to do all of these things really well. And my belief is if I do that stuff well, my brand is going to keep growing and excelling. And that is how I'm going to develop a really strong brand. And the point of this exercise is to help you guys think about that too and to start thinking correctly about what you should be doing in terms of production, distribution, and customer service. And I think if you start thinking that way, you're going to be making the right moves and the right decisions, and your brand is going to grow and excel. When you start out, a lot of times you're probably thinking really small. You're probably just thinking about, oh, I'm going to make some cool designs and put them on a t shirt, and I'm going to have my business and make money. That's kind of probably what you're thinking about. But as you mature and you grow in your brand, you're going to start, hopefully, you should start to think about this stuff. And this is really what's going to give you satisfaction in coming to work every day and growing your brand. So, the first thing that we're going to talk about is production. This is obviously probably the biggest thing with your brand. It's actually getting the product made so that you have a product to sell, and that's a reflection of your brand. So, what I would do to have the perfect brand is I would have in house production or strong supplier. So, in my perfect scenario, I would love to make stuff and, have things embroidered here, have stuff screen printed here, make stickers. Everything it would be a perfect world if you had it in house, if you made stuff. For me specifically, I'm in the United States, if I had stuff made in the USA. And I would have it JIT, just in time. So what does that mean? I've mentioned this in the past. It means as the customer buys something, you make it, you ship it. It's that cycle. So what that also means is that you would have low inventory. So you would want to have as low as inventory as you possibly can get away with. So what that means is, let's say that you sell a gray hoodie with your logo embroidered on it. You would only want to order as many hoodies as your production schedule needs. So let's say that you are ordering, or you have customers and they purchase 5 of those hoodies a day. Well, you would want to order enough so that during the week, as you're producing, you're only, maybe you're only ordering 30 hoodies a week or 50 hoodies a week. You're not ordering 500 hoodies a week, because that would mean that you are stocking all the inventory, you're managing it, you're cleaning things, you're moving stuff around, it's sucking up cash. That is not a good system that you want. You would want to do stuff like this. Another thing that I would do with production is no pre-orders. This is always something that I'm trying to escape. Some months I have stuff in stock and there's no pre-orders. Customer purchases it and I ship it out the same or next day. The pre-ordering system is very difficult to deal with. Sometimes you can't escape it. That's why I made a couple of videos ago about how to do a pre-order successfully, because this is a perfect scenario, a perfect brand, right? And obviously myself and probably some of you, you're striving to that model, but until you get there, you might have to still do pre-orders and you're still fumbling around with that. And essentially what this means is no waiting. And that kind of ties back into customer service. A lot of the topics I'm going to discuss here with production distribution, they are a little bit interwoven with customer service, but there are a couple things here that are by itself. And quality. So this is always what you're going to be striving to. You're going to have a base level quality and you're always going to be moving upwards. And what does the quality aspect mean as well? The quality means you're giving the best possible quality for the price point that you have, because there's always levels to this. There's lower ends of quality and really, really high ends of quality. You're doing what's appropriate for your business. Obviously, if you had just the best t-shirt hoodie that you're making and it has an exorbitant price tag to manufacture it, but then you sell it for cheap, or basically just you're not going to be making enough profit from that. So that's not a reasonable goal. That wouldn't be a perfect brand. The quality has to be as best as possible, but still you have to be making profit and running a successful and healthy business in order for it to work, right? You're not going to be making a t-shirt and it costs you $35 to make it and it's the best t-shirt, but you're only selling it for $39, right? Or something like that. That doesn't make any sense in a perfect brand. So the next thing that we move on to, if you had a perfect brand, is distribution. So this just means, how are you getting the product out? You would want to aim for affordable shipping. So what do I mean by that? That sounds a little bit ambiguous. Well, a lot of brands, because they do not have other aspects of their brand really tied down and thought out, they charge just exorbitant shipping. And what that does is that it just turns customers away, right? The customer wants to pay a reasonable amount for shipping or get free shipping if there's a threshold. They purchase a certain amount and they want the product to arrive in a reasonable amount of time. So that's what you want to do with affordable shipping. Now, what is one thing that would help with affordable shipping, specifically with international customers? You need worldwide distribution. This is one of the biggest goals for any company, small and large. You want distribution centers around the world. I'll give you a perfect example of one, and it's very obvious: Amazon. They don't have just one warehouse where they ship everything from. They have warehouses all over the United States, all over the world. And a really simple way that you can do this is you have retailers that are all over the world. A lot of brands do this, a lot of streetwear brands, clothing brands. Obviously, they have people that are retailing their products. So let's say that you are a US-based company, but you have stores and retailers in Germany or in Japan or in, just whatever other countries, Australia. Or you have, let's say that you're based in California and you have a distributor in the Midwest and you have one on the East Coast or in Florida or something like that. So the purpose of that is that the customer is going to receive their items way, 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 way faster, and the shipping is going to be way more affordable. One problem that I have, because I'm a smaller business, obviously, and I do not have distribution around the world, and I'm not set for that right now, that's not something I'm able to do right now, is that when I have international customers purchasing something, the shipping rates are exorbitant. And that's always something I'm thinking about, and always something that's like a goal that I'm striving towards. I'm like, okay, that is something I need to do in the future as best as I can, get those shipping rates down for the international customer. With the US shipping rates, they're pretty low for my business compared to other brands that I've seen, because I have that system very finely tuned, and you guys obviously see all the little intricacies that I put into that and how I've thought about that. So I do have that part down, I think. But for the perfect brand, definitely worldwide distribution would be a big plus. That's something that you want to do if possible, if it makes sense. Even let's just say that your next step is not worldwide, you're not thinking about that, but you are thinking about within the United States and you're based in the United States. Having multiple retailers, in different states and different locations across the US is super helpful, because like I said before, that's going to bring the shipping time down significantly. If you ship from one location to the very opposite of the United States, let's say to Hawaii, Alaska, Florida. I'm in Washington, so Florida is really far away. That takes around 5 to 7 days, depending on what shipping service you use. And in general, you're going to be waiting around 5 to 7 days. if you have multiple distributors, you can get that down to 1 or 2 days because items can be shipping from, the middle of the United States, the East Coast, or let's say you are on the East Coast and you're going to the West Coast. So that's something that you want to aim for. That would be great. Or you can also almost get to that right now if you use priority mail, although that's obviously more expensive and you might have to tweak other aspects of your business in order to do that. But I would still say having distribution would be better. Another thing that you can do, and most of you can do this right now, but not every company does this, and this is a perfect brand. Same day shipping. Every brand should be aspiring to this, including you. I aspire to this, and for the most part, about 90% of the time, right now I'm able to do this. So this is something I'm happy that I got to this point. In the past, I was not quite yet to that point, although, maybe every, 50% orders back in the day, I would be able to ship them out same day. This is difficult though, if you're doing pre-orders, right? If you have pre-orders, you can't do same day shipping. So the customer is waiting a long time. And that is why in a perfect brand, you wouldn't be doing pre-orders. You would have just in time, customer orders a product, you make the product and it's shipped out all in the same day because you finely tuned every system in your brand. That's what you're trying to do. But if you are stocking inventory, I have inventory here. A customer right now can order something if it's in stock and I'll ship it out today before 4 p.m. That is my goal every single day. That's what I'm thinking about, because doing this and doing this leads to customer satisfaction, and that is obviously part of customer service, and that's the next thing that I want to talk about, the last thing. So customer service is not something that, particularly in the space I'm in, like streetwear, it's absolutely trash. This is something that I'm trying to change within this industry, is to communicate with customers as best as possible, as clearly as possible, and replying within a very timely fashion. So you would want, if you had customer service, you would want to reply within their hour. This would be totally ideal, because think about it for yourself. If you're a customer and you purchase something and there's a mistake, you bought the wrong thing, the address is wrong, you had a question, you're kind of dealing with some kind of mental anxiety in the back of your head with that, because you're like, oh no, what if they ship it out or it's going to the wrong address? You're dealing with that. And if you're a business that takes care of customers and you really are focused on that and you're focused on being the perfect brand, you are going to be aiming towards this, because you don't want that your customer to have anxiety. You don't know how many times, and I'm not exaggerating this, so many times I would reply to people within like half an hour, 15 minutes, and they would always say, wow, thank you so much for getting this fixed. Like, a lot of companies don't do that, and I'm not trying to puff myself up. I'm just giving you guys something to aspire to. That's something I try to aspire to. Respond within the hour. The other day I like to peruse brands, lots of product brands, clothing brands, streetwear brands. And I saw someone and they said like, oh, we respond to emails in like 3 or 4 days or something like that. I'm like, 3 or 4 days? That's like the most insane thing I've ever heard. I don't care how busy you are. And here's the thing. If you are a small business, let's say you're only 1 or 2 guys, you shouldn't have problems responding to your customers in a timely fashion. The reason why is because you're probably not getting like a bajillion orders a day. And here's the thing, if you were getting the bajillion orders a day, you would have employees, because you can't do that yourself. Let's say that you're getting 200 orders per day. There's no way that you can be fulfilling those orders, doing production, distribution, designing, running the business, taxes, managing, cleaning, all that kind of stuff. There's no way that you would be doing all that by yourself. By that point, you would have employees. You would have 2, 3, 4 people if that's what you're dealing with. And what that means is that one of those people would have to be a dedicated customer service person. So that means that in that situation, you wouldn't have a problem either with customer service. There's no reason for you to have a problem with that. And another thing with the perfect brand, with the customer service thing, is that you would have a good FAQ page. So this is just a generalization, but ideally you do not want to do any customer service. What I mean by that, I've mentioned this in previous videos. You want the customer to be able to purchase a product knowing what they're getting, not having questions about it, because you front load all that information on your website. You have a good FAQ page, you have maybe a chat bot or something that's working, or you have a dedicated customer service person or whatever. But ideally, the customer would want to be able to buy something and not have this ambiguity about how long it's going to take, what material it's at, what should I do to wash it, what is it made out of. All that stuff should be answered on your website. You need to take the time to type all that stuff out. If you don't have that on your website now, take your laptop, go to a coffee shop, and do not leave that coffee shop until you have a FAQ page that's somewhat decent. And you can look at lots of other brands. You can look at my FAQ page, and you can pick and pull what you need from that for your particular website or product service. So definitely get that done. Another thing with the customer service, and I just mentioned it, was the front loading communication. Front loading com. So I have mentioned this in previous videos. If you are having a customer ask you questions or emailing you about something, what you want to do is you want to communicate to them in as least steps as possible. You do not want to be wasting your time and their time and going back and forth about something. You can answer emails within 2 or 3 emails, or even one sometimes, if you include the relevant information in your very first email. I'll give you a perfect example of this. Once in a while, a customer will ask, hey, I didn't receive my stickers, but they really did receive their stickers, because this has happened multiple times. Because it's in their mailbox, but there is no tracking to this. Sometimes I ship out stickers and they don't have tracking. It depends on what kind of order you have. So those stickers could be sitting in their mailbox for like a week or something, and they simply don't know because they didn't check. And then what I do is, hey, I say you should have received them by now. Did you check your mailbox? ? Then I say, if you didn't receive them, I'll help you out. We'll send you a new package. Additionally, can you verify that this is the correct address? Because that could be a problem. They could have wrote the wrong address down, so the stickers went to the wrong address. But what I did was I communicated 3 points in one email, and either the customer looks at that list, they go check their mailbox and the stickers are there, and they don't have to email me back, obviously, and I don't want them to email me back. You know, if they have their stickers, that's good. The problem's solved. We don't need more communication. Or if they had the wrong address or something, or if they lost it, they would email me one more time. Then I would confirm with them, is this the correct address? Or if they say yes, I would say, okay, we're going to reship your order. Or if it's not the correct address, they would give me the correct one, and then I would send them a confirmation that I reshipped their order. So all of that was reduced to about 2 or 3 emails, whereas if you weren't front-loading communication, we weren't listing down the relevant steps, you would be going back and forth, asking for their address, confirming. That would be like 4, 5, 6, 7 emails. Sometimes people are doing that and they don't realize that because they don't have their customer service down, right? That's something that you want to learn, and it's a skill that you learn over time. And after answering hundreds and hundreds of communications over probably thousands by now, over 6 years, that's something I've learned. And it's something that you want to really get down. Another thing that you want to do if you had a perfect brand for the customer service aspect is have variety of products. What I mean by that is products that range from low to high. The reason for that is that from the low to the high, you have a variety of customers that are interested in your brand. If you just have products that are super, super expensive, but you have a lot of customers and like, man, I can't afford this brand, but I really like it, I want to be a part of it, you're just cutting those people out. They're dissatisfied and they can't really be a part of your brand. You can't, it's always good to have multiple products in multiple price ranges so you can fulfill customers' desires in a broad fashion, right? And this is also a technique in the product business and the clothing business. Even brands that are really like luxury brands, they have little keychains or they have a belt or socks that are still quite expensive, but a person can actually afford that. Maybe they just work a couple hours extra at their job and then they buy like that little piece from that really expensive luxury brand versus buying a $300 t-shirt or a $2,000 handbag, right? They can still be a part of the brand, and that brand is smart that they're catering to those people, right? And along with that, this is important, and this kind of is related to the production a little bit, but this is fresh, new, innovative products. This is obviously extremely important. You're always trying to make new stuff, cool stuff. When it's the seasons, you're making seasonal items that are appropriate for that, so your customer can be like, hey, I need a new hat. Well, I like this brand. Let's go to that website and get a hat from them. You wouldn't want to have a website where you're just selling like one really static product, although you can have a successful business doing that. But specifically for the clothing space, you do want to have a variety of products, according to seasons and customers' needs, hats, gloves, hoodies, t-shirts, socks, keychains, stickers, all sorts of stuff. It's good to have a variety of products, and you want them to be new. You don't want to just be making the same thing forever. That gets old and stale, and eventually, sales will plummet on that. And making innovative stuff, try to be as creative as possible. It makes your brand fun. It makes it refreshing. The customers like it, and the customer satisfaction will go up. So this is, for the most part, what I'm always thinking about. This is like my big, hairy, audacious goal, is specifically with this part right here. This is what I'm always like striving towards every day when I wake up and I think about what I should be doing. This is what I want to do. And I feel like if you did all of these things right, if you're striving for this to make the perfect brand, you're probably, and realistically, you're not going to have the perfect brand, but you can get really close to doing all of this stuff really well. And you have to be improving daily on that stuff too. So for example, the same day shipping, I didn't always have that in my business, but now for the most part I do. And I'm still working on getting that even better. I'm still working on learning about manufacturing, so one day I can be doing that myself. These are my goals that I'm constantly striving towards. And I feel like if you guys are striving towards those as well, you're just going to see your brand grow and flourish and be successful. So if you got any value of this video, or if you have any comments or questions, you can leave them down in the comment section below, and I'll catch you guys later. Thanks.